Now I'm going to talk to you very briefly on medical records and what the importance is of keeping medical records. I'm going to take you through the first 5 points. So what do medical records provide? Well, they're a permanent account of your client's visit to their treatment and ongoing care plan. They're also an effective communication between you and your client to ensure an understanding has been reached as to the chosen treatment and a mutual agreement with regards to the outcomes that the treatment will actually deliver. They are a detailed account of your procedure that you have performed, and you must make sure you detail everything. They provide a continuity of care to allow a colleague perhaps to understand your decision making and be able to carry on a treatment from where you left off if required. And finally, and very importantly, they are a protection in the event of a claim. Good treatment records will help protect you in an event of a claim. It will help to mitigate you against any criticism that is laid against you as a professional practitioner, including the technical skill that you have used to perform such procedures. So, what is best practice when you document your records? Basically, it's everything you need to put down with regards to any face-to-face consultations you have with your clients, any telephone call and email exchanges, any letter correspondence where you've had verbal interaction. You must also include any communication that you've had with other outside professionals in relation to your client's care. Any additional discussions that you've had as to your client's wishes with regards to their desired outcome. You need to also include, as part of and in association with the informed consent process, any further explanations that you have given with regards to the risks of that procedure. Julie later will be talking about informed consent. So you must record the delivery of the procedure, the products that you have used, any specific technique that you have applied. So that includes the laser machines you use, that includes what brand of maybe Botox that you've used, how much you've used, which particular site on the body that you've injected. You must record in black permanent ink. It must be initialed by you. Your initials, if used, if you're a manager here, I would suggest that you create a data bank of initials for those practitioners if you're a clinic working within your entity. Initials and signed signatures, so then you can always establish who those treating practitioners are at a later date in the event of a future claim. So your records must be legible. They must be accurate, informative and succinct and in chronological order. No use of abbreviations unless widely accepted as standard practice within your profession that you're providing. I was going to use, well, I'll talk about Gerald Ratner actually did a classic. Again, no personal client derogatory comments must be made. I think we were all in the audience perhaps remember Gerald Ratner moving away from clinical a bit. In 1991, he mocked his customers by using the words total crap and to attack one of his products. In fact, in his remark, he said their earrings were cheaper than a Marks and Spencer's prawn sandwich, but probably wouldn't last so long. Those two words, total crap, created bad press and caused the downfall of his company. But briefly, you're wearing them, are you, Eddie? So if you mock your customers, I'm not saying we're all very professional here, but I come across claims an awful lot, and believe you me, there are some unprofessional people out there practicing what you do in the aesthetic world. So if you mock customers by saying such things as no matter how much Botox I'm going to pump into this woman, she still isn't going to look good, you could end up being Ratner to yourself. So just be thoughtful, just take some time to think about what you're saying, what you're writing it. And remember, under the Data Protection Act, your client can actually have access to your records.
Should the client should they see the records?
They can see the records.
Best practice to
yeah, they can also.
show the patient, this is what I've written down.
Yeah, I think it should always be a two-way conversation in any case, and I'm sure Julie will touch on this with informed consent, so I don't want to say too much. It's always good that if you're adding any additional information with regards to the risks that you're explaining about your treatment that is removed from the set informed consent pro forma that you're asking them to sign, and you're writing those in the notes, it would be great to get the client to initial that they have actually understood what you have said to them and that they have agreed that to be in their records.
Yeah. And what about if they're doing it on a computer?
Well, there's always a computer, email signatures or...
You know, if they're, when you're sitting in front of the client and then you're typing it in on a computer?
Again, get them to come round, get them to have a look.
You've got no problem with...
No, I don't have a problem. You could always, on a computer, you could say, I have explained this. She has agreed, she is watching it with me at that time. All helps in mitigation. Again, any alterations, cross out with just one line and again, initial it clearly. And again, computer records, there'll always be an audit trail if you've made any alterations on that computer, so we can always, the lawyers will always be able to look back on that system. Pre and post treatment photographs, again, make sure they're clear and date recorded. We get an awful lot that aren't date recorded.
In your experience, Katie, have the photographs had an impact on claims?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you will get a number of claimants that will embellish their injuries.
Yeah.
They will say, I had this and that and that, and this is what this is what I've ended up with. And actually the pre-photographs and maybe the post-photographs immediately after completely can change a case. And those presented, and as Julie will say, if we present those to the other side, to the other claimant solicitors, it could well be that the claimant solicitors will drop their case. Consistency, again, try and remember handwritten entries, computer entries, need to be consistent in the way that you're saying things from doctor to nurse to beautician all the way down. You'll probably have protocols and procedures, or should do protocols and procedures in place on how you want your records to be recorded within your own companies. So who has responsibility to document? Basically everybody, in a nutshell, that comes into contact with your client for the treatment. So that could be from your administrative staff, down to the practitioner who might perform informed consent, the practitioner who might perform the treatment, the practitioner who might be performing the pre- and post-operative care advices.
So, sorry to chip in again, but presumably then for a clinic, they need to have some real strong internal protocols, don't they? Because the practitioner can't be responsible for what the administrative staff is doing.
No. But if an administrative person's take a telephone call and that telephone call's come in from one of your clients and sort of said, look, I had this treatment done yesterday, I'm not well, your practitioner's made me look like this, I'm going to go to solicitors, I'm going to see someone, they need to just say, I received this telephone call at that particular time, this is what the person's done, and this is what I've done, i.e. I've referred that, I've had that telephone call to the practitioner, and that's that bit really. That's their particular role covered. Registered prescriber, that's really topical, I think, at the moment for most people. Basically, the registered prescriber needs to ensure that they document within records if they are if they're not the person actually performing the treatment. So if they're not performing the treatment themselves, they must undertake an assessment of the client. They must record any notable features of that client, particularly in the area that they want to treat. They must inform the client of the appropriate available treatments and the benefits. So they must talk about the risks. They might even take some form of informed consent from them. They must record the chosen treatment and any discussions that they have with regards to any further pre- and post-operative care, including if they're just the registered prescriber and not the performing practitioner, they must also speak with that practitioner regarding any specific treatment advice in terms of administrating that treatment and document that too. So what are the pitfalls if you don't have good medical records? It basically is a weakened defence. Inadequate medical records makes it very hard to defend you in the event of a claim. Remember, a court will always be on the side of the claimant. And as the old saying goes, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. So poor medical records will often force a claim to be settled rather than defended, with higher settlement awards and litigation costs. These costs will also be for you. It will cost you money through your insurance policy excess and maybe perhaps potential premium increases when you come to renew your insurance the following year. Most of you also might be had up for a fitness to practice tribunal or a CQC investigation. And again, in turn, they might well impose conditions upon you. Such conditions will have a loss of your professional reputation, financial income will be reduced, and you could well jeopardise your insurance protection. So what will, if you do fail to keep your documents up to date, what will other people say? What is that message you're going to give out? Well, failure to document, the claimant's law will definitely say it didn't happen, it's your fault. The regulatory authorities will definitely say it didn't happen, your quality of work is poor. The newspapers may say it didn't happen, it shouldn't happen, it's all about you taking the money, so don't let them do it. Don't let them say it about you. So finally, just to sort of summarise, there's a couple of things I'd like you to take away is just keep it simple and write it down. You don't have to write reams, you know, it's not a War and Peace essay, it's about keeping it simple and writing everything down that you can, and timely, keeping it in a time fashion. Try and write it at that time. And above all, if you can, remember, document what you did, what you observed, what you were told, and what you said. So connect those dots and you'll protect yourself.